All right, now the question is, are we actually live? Because this has been a challenge, I will tell you, quite a challenge. I have no idea what happened. I just, I just don't know sometimes with this software, but I think we're there. I think we're there. We pop that up over here, pop this down. Do me a favor, if you are online with me right now, let me know that you can hear and see me, and I am gonna move back over. And we'll see how many of you stuck with me through the technical problems. We've got Joe. Welcome, David. Thank you very much. I went live like I normally do. I swear to goodness, last couple weeks have been a challenge. And just nothing. Had to reboot, get it all there. Steve Eller, good morning to you. Thanks for the live. And Mary for your help with this. Good morning to you, Mary, as well. Joe Reuter's in the house. What's going on, Joe? If it were easy, everyone would do it. Dude, you are not kidding me, man. I am telling you, we're going to get this thing working. So without ado, just make sure you are logged into your YouTube account or your Google account. They're synonymously the same thing. I know we've got a bit of delay. I don't know how bad the delay is right now, but we're gonna get this started because we are late. So here we go. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. SDS with DSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes out of your day to get pumped about the upcoming weekend, get excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm Dave Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula, and your coach. And again, make sure you're logged into your YouTube account, your Google account, so you can participate in the chat. I'm going to do my very best to make sure all of this is working here now. It is quite the challenge. Joe says, let's see here, laugh out loud. I am brooding one of my customers remotely, servers as we speak, tech. Yeah, dude, love it, hate it at the same time, I swear to goodness. But this is where we are. Technology. All right, here we go. Today we're talking about something so simple most restaurant pros skip it. And because they skip it, they stay stuck. This topic, the daily money meeting, 10 minutes that changes everything, is important. And I'll be clear, not a 2-hour meeting, not another spreadsheet you open once, feel guilty about, and then avoid it like it owes you money. 10 minutes every day. Same rhythm, same questions, same accountability. And if you do it right, this one habit can change the way your restaurant communicates, performs, and makes decisions. Because here's the truth. Most restaurant pros don't have a profit problem first, they have a rhythm problem. They don't have a communication rhythm. They don't have an accountability rhythm. They don't have a performance rhythm. They look at numbers after the damage is already done, and they wonder why the restaurant feels like it's running them instead of the other way around. That's like driving a car only using the rearview mirror once a month. Good luck, Mario Andretti. The daily money meeting is your chance to look through the windshield every single day. It gives you and your managers a simple way to answer one question. Are we on track today, or are we pretending? And restaurant pros, pretending is expensive, really expensive. You pretend labor is fine. You pretend food cost is fine. You pretend yesterday's slow lunch was just a fluke. You pretend the schedule was pretty good. You pretend that waste wasn't that bad. You pretend your managers probably handled it. And then you get your P&L, and suddenly the restaurant has slapped you across the face with a wet towel. And you say, how did this happen? It happened daily. You just reviewed it monthly. That's the problem. The daily money meeting fixes that. Now, this is not a beating. Let me be clear. If your version of a money meeting is walking into your restaurant, throwing numbers at your managers, making them feel stupid, and then leaving like some kind of spreadsheet cowboy, don't do that. That's not leadership. That's ego with a calculator. The daily money meeting is not about blame. It's about awareness. It's about communication. It's about teaching your managers to think like operators, because most managers don't naturally think about money the way you do. Not because they're bad, not because they don't care, not because because they're not smart. It's because nobody taught them. They were taught to run the floor. They were taught to put out fires. They were taught to cover call-outs, comp the angry guest, fix the printer, find the ranch dressing, and somehow smile while doing it. But were they taught how sales, labor, purchases, waste, comps, and productivity connect to profit? Usually no. And then restaurant pros get frustrated because their managers don't get it. Well, no kidding. You gave them keys, alarm codes, and a polo shirt, and assumed financial leadership would magically appear. That's not a system. That's a wish wearing a name tag. So here's the rhythm. Every day, you and your general manager meet with the key managers for 10 minutes. Not 45. Not let's talk about every problem in the building. 10 minutes. Standing meeting if possible. Keep it tight. Keep it focused. You look at yesterday. You look at today, you identify the adjustments. That's it. 3 simple sections. Number 1, what happened yesterday? You review yesterday's sales. Were they above projections, below projections, on target? Then you look at labor. Were you scheduled correctly? Did managers make cuts when sales dropped? Did they get caught understaffed and destroy the guest experience? Did someone ride the clock because nobody was paying attention? You're not looking for a villain. You're looking for a pattern. Then you look at the controllables: waste, comps, voids, discounts, no sales, transfers, anything that tells you where the money may have leaked out of the building. Again, not to beat people up, to teach awareness, because what gets reviewed gets improved. What gets ignored gets expensive. Number 2, what is expected today? What are today's projected sales? What's the weather? Any events nearby? Any reservations? Any catering? Any big parties? Any staff risks? Any menu items we're low on? Any known problems walking into the shift? This is where the team stops reacting and starts preparing. And let me tell you something. Preparation is cheaper than panic. Panic is when you find out during the dinner rush that you're short 2 line cooks, overstaffed in the front, out of a key item, and your manager says, "I didn't know." The daily money meeting kills "I don't know." Beautiful phrase, by the way. Let's bury it in the backyard where it belongs. Number 3, what is the one adjustment we're making today? This is the big one. This is the money question. Not 17 adjustments, 1. What is the one thing you're going to do today to improve performance? Maybe it's cutting one server if lunch is trending soft. Maybe it's watching overtime. Maybe it's reducing prep on a slow day. Maybe it's following up on waste. Maybe it's coaching the team on comps. Maybe it's watching portioning on a high-cost item. Maybe it's making sure manager checks labor every hour instead of at the end of the shift when the damage is already done. One adjustment, one commitment, one owner. That's how accountability starts. Not with speeches, not with motivational posters, not with a team makes the dream work nonsense printed above the expo line. Accountability starts when somebody says, here's the number, here's the gap, here's the action, here's who owns it, here's when we review it. That's leadership. Now, let's talk about why this works. The daily money meeting works because it creates visibility. You cannot manage what you refuse to look at. A lot of restaurant pros avoid their numbers because the numbers make them feel bad. I get it. Looking at bad numbers is uncomfortable. But you know more? What's more uncomfortable? Running out of cash, missing payroll, being trapped in your restaurant because you never taught your managers how money works. Numbers don't create the pain. numbers reveal the pain. And once you can see it, you can fix it. The second reason it works is it creates communication. Your managers stop operating in silos. The kitchen knows what the floor is expecting. The floor knows what the kitchen is dealing with. The GM knows what the chef is watching. The owner knows whether the team is thinking ahead or just playing restaurant whack-a-mole all day. Communication doesn't happen because you hired adults. Wouldn't that be nice? Communication happens because you install a rhythm. And the daily money meeting is that rhythm. The third reason it works is it creates ownership. When your managers review the numbers daily, they start to understand how their decisions affect the business. They see that sending someone home 45 minutes early matters. They see that waste matters. They see that comps matter. They see that over-prepping matters. They see that every little thing adds up. And that's where growth happens. Your managers can't become leaders if you only give them tasks. They become leaders when you teach them how to think. The daily money meeting teaches them how to think. Now, here's where restaurant pros mess this up. They overcomplicate it. They try to build the perfect dashboard. They try to track too many numbers. They turn a 10-minute meeting into a 63-minute hostage situation with coffee. Don't do that. Start simple. You need yesterday's sales. You need yesterday's labor, today's sales projections, today's scheduled labor, comps, voids, discounts, and waste. That's enough to start. You can add more later once the rhythm is built, because a simple meeting done daily beats a perfect meeting done twice and then abandoned. Every time. Here's another mistake. They make it optional. The daily money meeting cannot be when we get around to it. That means never. Restaurant life is chaos by default. There will always be a delivery. There will always be a call out. There will always be a guest complaint. There will always be someone asking where the key is to the liquor cage. That's why rhythm matters. Pick a time, protect it, do it every operating day. If you're open 7 days, someone owns it 7 days. If your GM's not there, your GM runs it. If your GM isn't there, I should say if you weren't there, your GM runs it. If your GM isn't there, then the manager on duty runs it. The system cannot depend on your presence. Because if every system depends on you, congratulations, you built a business. No, you didn't. You built a job with food cost. Now, for your Monday action, because this is where the rubber meets the road. I don't want you nodding along thinking that's a good idea and then doing absolutely nothing. That's how restaurants stay stuck. On Monday, implement your first daily money meeting. Don't wait until the dashboard is perfect. Don't wait until your managers are magically ready. Don't wait until you have every report dialed in. Start ugly, start simple, start with these 5 questions. 1, what were yesterday's sales? 2, what was yesterday's labor? 3, were we over or under where we expected to be? 4, what is today's sales projections and staffing plan? And 5, what is the one adjustment we're making today? That's it. Put it on the calendar, 10 minutes, same time every day. And here's the key, write down the one adjustment, because if it's not written down, it becomes restaurant vapor. Everyone nods, everyone agrees, and then the shift starts and poof, it's gone. Write it down. Review it the next day. Did we do what we said we were going to do? Did it work? What did we learn? That's how you build accountability without becoming the angry owner everyone avoids. Let me say this plainly. If your managers resist this meeting, that tells you something. It may mean they're uncomfortable with numbers. That's trainable. It may mean they don't understand why it matters. That's leadership. It may mean they don't want accountability. That's a different problem. Don't ignore the signals. The daily money meeting reveals more than numbers. It reveals who is engaged. It reveals who is coachable. It reveals who thinks like a leader. It reveals who wants the title, but not the responsibility. And that matters. Because your restaurant will never outperform the quality of the leadership rhythm inside it. You want better performance? Create better rhythm. You want better communication? Create better rhythm. You want better accountability? Create better rhythm. 10 minutes a day. That's the move. Not complicated, not sexy, not shiny. But neither is brushing your teeth, and you still better do it unless you want problems. Same thing here. The daily money meeting is restaurant hygiene. It keeps the business healthy. It catches problems early. It keeps the team aligned. It teaches managers to think like operators, and over time, it changes the culture from reactive to proactive. That's what we're after. Because restaurant prosperity is not built in one heroic moment. It's built in daily disciplines. Small meetings, small corrections, small commitments, done consistently. That's how you stop being surprised by your numbers. That's how you stop carrying everything yourself. That's how you start building a team that understands the scoreboard and knows how to win. So Monday, Restaurant Pros, I want you to start 10 minutes. Yesterday, today, one adjustment. That's the daily money meeting. And if you do it consistently, it will change everything. Now it's time for your questions here on Shoot the Shit. Now, again, I apologize for not getting started on time. I'm going to double check my team, what they said here, as long as everything is working. Let's see here. Yep, looks like we're still good. I'm going to get my glasses and start to read your comments. So now it is time for your questions, your comments. Again, for those of you who stuck with me the extra 5-6 minutes to get online, I really appreciate it. All right, Steinhaus says, okay, logged into the right account now. This is Joe. All right, Joe, good to have you, brother. We've got Daily Habit. Good morning from Northern California. Good morning to you, my friend. To Start a Business says, Dwayne from Firehouse Subs. What's going on, Dwayne? And Dwayne also says, great knowledge. Thanks, my friend. We try. A little flustered this morning. Again, I sit there and hit the start, the 2-minute warning, it's going, the music is playing, and then it is just flashing red. We're not connecting, not working. Rebooted computer. But here I am. So what kind of questions do you guys have? Remember, there's not a Shoot the Shit next week. I've got my seminar in Las Vegas. We've got a few seats left. We actually have a smaller room this time, so I can't accommodate as many people. But we've got a few seats left. Make sure you go to davidscottpeters.com, click on Live Seminar. There are still a few seats available. 2 days, operational systems, love to see you there. It's not too late. How we doing here? Looks like we have everybody. Now it is time again for your questions. I'm looking at the delay. The delay looks like it is longer than normal. What you can't see is on my iPad, I actually have the YouTube preview, and it looks like I'm a little behind. But that could be, again, one of the glitches as we got this started. So, I'm going to give it a moment, let you guys catch up. For those of you who maybe watch this on a recording, or you're with me right now, I did pop up our QR code. If you want to learn more about our restaurant coaching programs, make sure you scan that QR code, get on a quick call with Ryan James. He's a restaurant owner like you, went through the program, made changes, and can guide you through it, find out what your challenges are, let you know what the program's about, and you guys can figure out if it's a good fit or not. I like to think we're a good fit for everybody, but we're not. I get it. But we'd love the opportunity to work with you. Let's see. Samantha says, your restaurant will never outperform the leadership that runs it. That one hit hard. Yeah, I mean, and think about it this way. This is why systems are so important. This is why for 23 years, starting in July will be year 24, I was the first restaurant coach that was ever out there. I have been promoting systems. I was known as the systems guy. Now I'm the restaurant prosperity formula guy. What's the difference? Systems are critical and they're a part of the formula. It starts with leadership, systems, training, accountability, and taking action. Systems are critical. But the systems add clarity. And with clarity, we create leaders. Because when you are telling your team what needs to be done and you show them a checklist and it is clear, everyone on the team knows what to do, including the managers, making them consistent leaders. When I was on a coaching call yesterday with one of my Mastery Plus members who was frustrated. Ops manager went on vacation. He was starting to discover some things. And one of his 5 restaurants we had prep was being overdone. Not underdone, overdone. So they're throwing away product, things that you shouldn't be throwing away on a daily basis. And he was frustrated. And I was talking about him like, well, they're using the prep system? Yes, we have a prep system. I said, I don't think so. I said, because if they're following the prep system, you wouldn't be throwing that product away. We would have reacted. We would have made a change. Swore to me. Got off the call, texted me. Said, gosh darn it. He didn't use that language. They weren't using the frickin' system. See, the systems make us better leaders. They make up for our weaknesses. They add clarity to the business. Everyone on the team knows what the job is, how to do it, how well it should be done, more importantly, by when. So no matter how strong or weak your leadership team is right now, if we put systems in place, we strengthen it. We also find out who is going to rise and who is not. And those managers who do not rise to the occasion may not make it, and that's okay. Because there's somebody waiting for that structure, somebody waiting for those systems, somebody waiting for that leadership to show up. And as that happens, as the systems implement, as your leaders become stronger, the culture changes, the restaurant gets easier to run. It does not mean there aren't going to be crises. It doesn't mean you don't have to put out fires. It doesn't mean that everything is blue skies. What it does mean is whether you're the manager, general manager of the business, or the owner, you're not required to be there on a daily basis. Your team knows what their job is, how to do it, how well it should be done, more importantly, by when. And my litmus test, if you've been following me for any length of time, been on these lives, I often ask, if you left your restaurant for a week and didn't call, they couldn't get in touch with you, would your restaurant fall apart? Would it still operate? And I don't mean just operate, that it run. Would it run the way you want it to run as if you were there? And if the answer is no, we know we've got a leadership problem, which starts with you. And we fix that with systems. Hopefully that makes sense. Steinhaus says, had to pause, back to live now. He said, thank you for this, David. You are welcome. Also follows up with, only question is how to find staff. Right now, my wife and I, are so busy running everything that we can't find time to work on the business versus in it. New kitchen manager out with COVID 2 weeks now. So I've got other questions to go along with that. Size of the restaurant. Are we a $500,000 restaurant? Then I would say that we're going to have to learn how to use key employees. Are we $1 million or more, $850 primarily a year? We can afford a full management team in place. So my question is, in some respects, if the kitchen manager is not in place because they're out with COVID and brand new, so obviously there's training and systems need to happen, do I have a general manager or a key manager, somebody who should have been responsible for the kitchen as well? Meaning, in my world, there's a general manager in a perfect world. We don't always have that. Depending on your sales volumes and where you are in your systems journey, I have a general manager. You, the owner, general manager, and then kitchen manager, assistant managers, and leads. So you notice there, the GM, my hand was up higher than the kitchen manager. That means if somebody was not there, it's my general manager's responsibility to make sure that there were some key employees inside the kitchen that can operate some of those key systems. And if they're not, that person, your general manager, has to make sure that stuff happens. See, we set up systems and we need to start setting up a real management team layer, not people with a title. Does that make sense? So right now you said, I don't have a kitchen manager. And right now, you're telling me your wife and you are playing the general manager role. Then you're right, it's going to suck you in. So I would ask, do I have enough coverage? How do I determine? Let's say I'm an $850,000 a year or more business, $1 million or more, full service restaurant because I don't know your restaurant, open 7 days a week, lunch and dinner. We'll start counting backwards. Do I have enough management is the question. If I've got an AM and a PM shift, I want a manager, I want a PM manager. 7 days a week, that's 14 shifts. Let's say my Fridays kick ass and I need a mid. And Saturday nights, date night, I need a second manager on the floor. We're so busy, I've got to have that extra set of hands. Well, now we go from 14 shifts to 16 shifts. Now back into it. My full-time salaried managers, my full-time hourly managers, no more than 5 shifts a week. So if I'm running a full-time manager, a second full-time manager, that's 10 shifts. I have 6 shifts I need to cover. And that can be done with what I call MITs, supervisors, managers in training, plain clothes on the floor. One person can be a bartender 3 days a week, 2 days a week as a manager. There's 2. Server, same thing. Kitchen person, same thing. I get to my 6. Now I'm training my replacements. Now the same is true in the kitchen, needs the same kind of coverage. The only difference is I have a kitchen manager or a chef, a sous or leads, and enough leads to cover the 14 shifts. I don't need 16. And so when you back into it, if I don't have that kind of coverage, you will always find yourself in a position where you're getting sucked back into the business hardcore. A part of why you're getting sucked in the business hardcore is, do I have the right systems? Again, there's a system, a process, a way to doing anything and everything in your business. Whether it's making sure we're not out of pens for our servers, someone has to be responsible for that they inventory them, they buy them, they make sure there's enough stock, to dollars per labor hour worked in budgeting. Everything is a system, a process, a way in the business. It's your way. And if we don't document it, if we don't train it, if we don't hold people accountable to it, then we don't have a system. If it lives in your head, you are the bottleneck of your business. So I would say that if to read further into, I have a kitchen manager out who's brand new, I don't have enough systems and enough leadership in place to cover those systems. We really have to look at getting it out of your head and into a system. Let's see where we are. Hopefully that helps. Steinhaus follows up with $8,000 per week. New, open 5 months, 40 seats inside, 40 seats enclosed deck. All right, so 8,000, what do we got there? 52. So you're about a $500,000 business. Let's just double check that real quick. So I'm going to go 8,000 times 52, make sure my math is right, 416. All right, so let's be very clear. We're going to have a very direct conversation for you specifically. You're open now 4 or 5 months, is what I remember. You're learning. Your must-do right now is to increase your sales. At $400,000, $500,000 a year, you've purchased a job. You and your wife, you're right, are going to be the managers. There's not enough money on the table to leave to the bottom line for you to take without running as a manager. See, small volume restaurants, the way they make money are the Subways of the world, where these franchisees buy 10, 15, 20 of them, doing $500,000, $600,000 a year. Right? So all of a sudden, they're taking a small percentage of each of those, and they can run them with teenagers. But the fact is, you're different. So we still have the same systems journey, and I don't have good news for you. You have to do the same work a $2 million restaurant has to do. The difference is a $2 million restaurant has managers. They can afford them. For you, we have to rely on key employees. We still have to have the 14 days shifts covered for lunch and dinner. We don't get around that. But we may have to cheat. You and your wife may work mid shifts, the dreaded mid shift. Come in at noon, leave at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And you've got an hourly supervisor, a server comes in, plays supervisor, opens the restaurant, doing the manager checklist until you walk in the door at 11 or noon. They punch out, punch back in as a server, you run the shift, and then you throw keys to a closing person who punches out and becomes a manager on duty. Well, all of a sudden, that can take care of literally 5 days with just a couple hours in the AM and the PM with what I call cheating with management. And then you can get your coverage in on the weekend. But we've got to develop our systems and we've got to develop our people. If you can't make it to Vegas, find my book on Amazon or any of your favorite retailers. Find Restaurant Prosperity Formula, what successful restaurateurs do. $15. But it's going to give you my whole philosophy on what you've got to get done in order to pull yourself out of this. But maybe some point in time we can talk. I know that probably just put an elephant on your chest. You go on to say, thanks for the help. We're going to keep plugging away. Yeah, you have no choice. Yes, that makes sense. Excellent. Thank you, my friend. Big Mike's in the house. What's going on, Mike? Joining a little late. Good morning, DSP. Good morning to you. You missed me starting late because I couldn't get the damn thing to go live. Steinhaus follows up with, yes, full on focus on sales right now. 100%. Just opened for from 5 to 7 days per week. Starting third-party delivery next week. Just lunch. God, if I could speak. Just started last week, so making moves. Okay. Sounds like you opened with too few hours. Now, you've got to make sure you're doing your very best to explain that you're now open for lunch. You're now open 7 days. Every guest, every customer, every server gets to hear, I hope you know we're open now on the weekends. I hope you know now we're open for lunch every single day. I hope you know ... Invite them back. Because you still have 4 or 5 months of people who only know you as open 5 days a week, dinner. Okay. How are we doing on time? Let's see. I think we're a little bit over now. So I appreciate your patience with me regarding YouTube not allowing me to go live right away. I don't know what the heck happened. I wish I did. I do, again, want to remind you, I'm going to my calendar here. That's what I'm doing. As a reminder, today is the 8th. So I'll be in Vegas next week at my 2-day seminar. So there is no shoot the shit on the 15th. Our next STS with DSP is Friday, May 22nd. So hopefully I see you there. Hopefully technology works. I swear it's been a rough couple weeks. We had a bad week, then we had a good week, and then we had a bad week when it comes to technology. But it's always a good week when I have the opportunity to come here live and answer your questions. Go out there, kick some ass, and make sure you get your 10-minute money meeting working next Monday. Peace, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.